Do you identify as a creative or as someone who has excessive worry and fear about the future? If so, this video is for you. Keep watching. Hey y'all, welcome back. I'm Alexandria. Be sure to click that link below and subscribe to this YouTube channel, Stay Dumb. And if you didn't know, I said this in the previous video, I say it all the time, but Stay Dumb the podcast is now on iHeart, Apple, Google, Spotify, and now Podbean. So be sure to check out the podcast on one of those platforms, on your favorite platform, and leave a review so other people can find out about this great content, this great channel, and so that we can just continue to spread the love and joy around the world. If you're tuning in, I'm making this video because I identify as a creative, but I also identify as someone who has experienced a lot of anxiety in my lifetime. And so creatives out there, I'm sure you can attest, you can agree that, yeah, you know, I am a person who is highly imaginative, but I also have this excessive worry about my future, excessive worry about the goals that I'm trying to accomplish in my life. So I wanted to make this video because I think that there are some tips that can help you cope with it. Because I know that when we have negative emotions, and just when we have emotions, period, they don't go anywhere. Okay, we can't get rid of fear. You can't get rid of stress or worry or anxiety, but we can find ways to cope and to manage it. So first off, what is a creative? So I did some research because I really wanted to know, because I think I identify as it, but I was like, okay, what does the other article say about creativity? So told y'all I got my notes. So if you identify as a creative, what is it? It is a person who takes risk. Don't you love taking risk? They are very scary. I told my mom and dad over the weekend, I was like, yeah, I'm the person that just kind of like walks to the edge of the cliff, and God is like, come on, come back a little bit. Like, I'm that person that's like, even though I'm afraid of heights, but I'm the person that's like, oh, let me just look over. Because we take risk. We take a lot of risk. Also, a creative is a person who is very courageous. So being courageous is truly a gift. Not everybody is brave enough to go out and try to accomplish their dreams. Some people won't even accomplish a small task, you know, just as, oh, let me go to the gym, you know, because they're so fearful about what other people are thinking and what they will say about them. And don't get me wrong, there are moments that I feel those ways. You know, I feel that way where when I was going into the gym, I used to be scared that people were watching me, but I had to realize that my goal was far more superior than anybody watching me in the gym, because honestly, no one cares that you are walking in here. So creatives are very courageous. Also, they take the road less traveled. So a lot of times you see these group of people, it's like this group think or kind of this sheep mentality where they all go in this one direction, and you as a creative is like, no, I don't want to go that route. I'm gonna go this route. And I always like the visual that I have in my mind is like this fork in the road where you see this easy path, right? It's just this easy path that looks so comfortable, the sun is shining, and then I decide to take the path where there's a bunch of shrubs, there's some holes in the ground, and I gotta jump over some obstacles. I take that road, unfortunately, sometimes. So again, we take the road that's less traveled, the one that we have to create our own footsteps on this pathway versus the one that has already been created and laid out in front of us. So that's also a part of being a creative. It is also someone who is highly imaginative. Being highly imaginative is really great at times because you can come up with so many ideas. You can create ways to get out of situations, but you also create ways to put yourself in a dreadful situation, or you excessively worry about sometimes the dumbest things. And so again, it's that balance that's required of how to cope with it. Because being creative, we want to make sure that we stay imaginative so we can continue to create the things that we see in our head, but at the same time, silencing the negative part that tells us not to do it, or to not take action, or to procrastinate because we think we need to get it perfect. So anyway, again, being creative, you're probably very imaginative. You can think a bunch of things and even materialize it and allow those ideas to come into fruition. My other one is being reflective. So even with a creative person, say you did accomplish a goal or you created something and maybe it didn't work out the way you wanted it to. So for instance, you create an event and the idea was in here and it comes out into this 3D world. Being reflective, maybe you didn't get all the people that you wanted to be in that room. Maybe it wasn't successful in the sense that you had the turnout, but you still did the work, but you just didn't have the turnout. So being reflective, you're able to go back and say, okay, what worked, what didn't work? And I love this idea because in the military, there was a strategy that they teach you, and it's called AAR, and it's an after action review. And so basically, after we go out and do some type of training, we come back as a unit, as a group, and we say, okay, basically, what were the pros and cons and what would we do better? And so as a creative, that's a process that maybe you could do as well, where you're in a reflective stage and you're saying, okay, what worked, what didn't work? Why did this fail? What did I lose in the process? Or what did I gain in the process? It's looking at all of it in totality. So those are just some of the key things about a creative. Again, highly imaginative. You come up with ideas and you're able to bring your idea into the 3D, or you're able to materialize your idea. It's also being very reflective because not every idea you have works. Sometimes you fail. Sometimes, mistakes happen. So it's understanding, okay, what worked, what didn't work. Being creative is being a risk taker. Sometimes people play it safe in their life and they're like, hey, I'm willing to work my job for 30 years of my life. I'm willing to dedicate all my time to this job and I'm going to play it safe in life. I'm not going to do the things that requires a challenge out of me that's going to cause me to go broke, right? Because sometimes creatives, we go broke. And so, you play it safe. And as a creative, we don't. We take the risk, and whatever comes out of that risk, we look at it from a positive, and it's like, hey, I did the thing though. It didn't work out, but I did the thing anyway. So taking the risk also means that you're courageous enough to do it. So those are just some things about a creative.